Welcome to the Funtrepreneurs. Here's your host for this episode of the Funtrepreneurs, Bob Krause.
Hi everybody, Bob Krause here with the Funtrepreneurs. So glad you joined us today. I'm here today with Eldad Given of Valo Motion, and definitely one of my favorite companies that is doing some incredible things. They've kind of taken everything that's on a digital device and they made it come to life in life size as well. And in fact, Valo Motion, well, first of all, thanks for being here. We've known each other for a good while now, and it's been fun to watch this journey evolve in our world of family entertainment. And I'd love to, first of all, what does Valo mean in Valo Motion?
Yep, well, Valo is the Finnish word for light.
For light, okay.
Yeah, and it was chosen because our products are based on lights and screens. So, and motion, obviously, because that's the other part of it.
Yeah,
that's we're really digging into.
I love it. And your founder, tell us a little bit about him and kind of his background, because he's brilliant.
Yeah, so Raini Kajastila, our founder and CEO, is a very special man. He is actually a PhD in computer science. And after 2 successful companies, he came back to the university and did a postdoctoral research. He wanted to learn how he can use computer vision, that was his main expertise, to encourage people to do more sports and learn new skills. So he was thinking about, okay, let's start with something I like, which is climbing.
Yes.
So he took climbing and thought about how can I bring more people to climb and to experience it using gaming, using computer vision.
Right,
and he came up with the augmented climbing wall. Actually, what you saw in IAPA 2016 was the result of a 5 years research.
Wow.
So it wasn't a overnight success.
Yeah, of course not.
It took a while.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
Definitely. And since then, he's leading the company, bringing new ideas with a very interesting team of engineers and developers and a lot of people around to bring this subject to life.
Yeah. Well, and you guys have done a great job. It's been really fun to see the evolution. Then I know that I've actually installed in some of my parks that I built for other people, the Valo Jump, which is basically, imagine 2, independent trampolines, each got their own participant jumping up and down with a big screen, 55-inch or bigger screen in front of them where they turn into an avatar and they become part of the video game. Yep. And that's been really, really successful. I know that at one point you told me one of the parks that I installed had was one of the highest turnover, the most amount of games or whatever. What's the term you use for usage?
Well, gameplays per day.
Gameplay,
this is our biggest objective. So as a company, we don't look on anything else but how many games we produce every day around the world.
Wow.
So today we are at around 170,000 games per day around the world. That's our top.
Cool.
And we're looking into 1 million.
Wow.
So about almost 7 times than what we are today to get by 2030. That's a really ambitious target, but we think we can make it. We think we can do it.
And the beauty of this, and this is something we share a passion about, this isn't just about making money, putting stuff out. It's about engaging kids in physical activity, right? I did a study in my very first park. We bought these body suits that had like 26 sensors in them, and we let the kids just play for 90 minutes. And we found that they were burning an average of at least 1,500 calories, and they were engaging all the major muscle groups, core, everything, legs. And I know that this is also a similar passion, that Valo Jump was all about keeping kids active, right? To be physically engaged in playtime.
Yep, definitely. This is the topic. We are looking into moving people. We always ask ourselves, how can we move them? But it's not just about moving them, having them enjoy the movement, enjoy the play.
Yes.
And how you do it? You give them a computer game while they're playing physically. You combine it, and that's the magic sauce.
It's amazing. You can take these kids, and this is, I'm going to be speaking tomorrow at one of the sessions here at this convention. And I'm actually going to take my cell phone and throw it out on the ground because this is the one and only industry where kids are willing to chuck their phone for a while to engage, right? Literally, outside of maybe having a game controller in their hands. And the beauty is what you guys have done is you've basically taken the concept of video game and brought it into a live platform where kids are part of the game, and I love that. And so, the other beauty is the game doesn't just happen one time. They can come back. You can change the game out to different types of games. But we talked earlier about how you've turned it into a gamification where there's competitions. So you were saying how you could have two people bouncing next to each other, but now they're literally competing against each other, right?
Yep.
But you can also get your own individual score. And we know in gamification, that always works great because you're always trying to beat your personal best, right? I was a swimmer, and all I could remember was my last fastest time, right? I had to beat that, even if it was a tenth of a second, it made a difference. Yeah. I would imagine the same thing for anybody who plays games, whatever. There's that element in the brain that says, I've got to beat my best time.
Yeah, that's true, and we have it in all our platforms. It's working very well. But as I mentioned to you, the moment we connected two devices and you compete with someone you know, someone next to you, you can hear their screams. You can feel the atmosphere. Not only you're more engaged, the audience is engaged in the activity.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody is about, we want to see who is winning. We want to see who is better. Yeah. And then we can do a tournament. And then we also offer like a league, global league that people can win prize money if they're score is like globally,
which is awesome, right? So you not only compete in the venue, you can have your best score, but then you see for the day who had the highest score. Yep. You can see who in the park has had the highest score ever, but then you can be like, there's a guy in Indiana or a guy in Montreal, Canada, or whatever, who's got a higher score. And I love the fact that you do these competitions. So how does that work? Like the park would actually, unless you have a high scoring kid that comes and plays a lot, and now he's like one of the top 10, that park would be represented. And so do they videotape the game, and is it done virtually or in real time? How does it work?
All the games are filmed.
Okay, yeah.
Always. You can choose if you want us to save it and publish it. But it's a personal decision of the jumper or the player. Okay. And then the park have their own
brand on it as well.
Their own branding on
which
it.
Is great.
Which is of course something to contribute to the
owner's like, that's my kid right there. Look at him jump.
So the name, the park location, and that's how you create something global.
Yeah.
But this is just a part of what we're doing, and the main mission is to move more people, and that's the main focus that we have all times.
I love that. And that's one of the things that I've also been working on, is to bring some new innovations in some of the attractions we build, so that let's face it, we're kind of in an industry that's a little bit comfortable, I will say, in the sense that there have been some real good proven attractions that have been built that are basically pretty safe and sound, and they work well on the attraction mix to make money for the owners. But we got to constantly desire to push. Otherwise, we're going to look like everybody else that's in the industry, and that's what I love about what you're doing. So bringing the tech side seems to be a real winner. We talked earlier about the demographic, right, of a good park, a successful park. And I love the fact that you confirmed for me what I kind of already knew, because I own 10 of my own locations, and with a whole group of other individuals. So it's been a real fun ride. But it's actually, our demographic is like 11 and under, right? It's that 6 to 11's our core, although we do have a toddler element that a lot of people don't do. But you're right, it's not like the park is filled with a bunch of teenagers and young kids, because what ends up happening is, even in an adventure park, it's primarily filled with kids 12 and under, right? And then they're having their birthday parties. The teens want to come, but they're usually going to come a little later at night, maybe when it's not so many of the younger kids. So in your Valo jump, is that demographic similar?
Yeah, well, we try to build all the solutions that we build for any age.
Right.
Because as I mentioned, in the world, it's kind of vary, and we still have other industries like climbing industries that have different demographics.
Right.
And other locations in the world where, for example, Europe trampoline parks tend to see even young adults, teenagers, where it's something in the US that you don't see too much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the interesting thing here is how you serve your core demography, how you give them something that's they cannot get at home.
Right.
And I think this is the point here about the attractions. Like when I go to meet owner-operators of parks, and I meet dozens every year all over the world, one of the questions I always ask them, who is your competitor? And time after time, it's the one down the street, the new one that's going to open, this one that's been there forever, and they're all looking at it and tell them, It's true, but they are 10% of your competition. 90% of your competition is this very comfortable couch with this amazing console of kids staying at home and playing non-stop. And I know about my kids. I have 3 kids.
Yes,
I'm growing
you
3
get
kids,
it, right?
and from different ages. And I say it's an addiction that it's really, 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 really hard to compete with.
You're right.
And the idea here that if we can give them something even close, it's not the same. The addiction of video games,
it's very real, very deep.
All over the country and all over ages. But it's something that's, if we can compete in the same ideas of great video games with something they cannot do at home. So they have to come to the park to do. If it's something that is addictive, in a way, good way. So they want to do it again and again and again. And I'm not talking about arcade games. I'm talking about physical motion activities that's really move them while they're playing a video game. So I'm telling to the owners, look at it. You can bring so many people that are currently not coming because when they come to your park and they see those trampolines they saw 20 years ago, they think about,
what's fun about this?
Been there, done that. Although it's fun, although it's great, it's a great activity. But at the same time, for some, or the majority, doesn't cater. Yeah,
when their brain is wired for electronics and visual motion in front of them, they're going to be drawn to the things that have that. So it's interesting with the ones that we installed. Remember, I said, oh, you use 55-inch monitors. Don't you want bigger? And you said, no, we've done the science behind it. And much bigger actually has, it affects the jump. And because I said, why don't you go with big screens?
I think the other part we did the 86.
Yeah, you did, which is phenomenal. It looks
it's
great.
Working. It's, it's the Texas edition of Valo Jump. Very popular in the US. But again, it's working in the same principle. Screen, body motion, jumping.
Well, this has been phenomenal to watch you guys continue to evolve, and I know that kids are looking for an evolution. So first of all, I want to also congratulate you for and for your whole team for winning the Innovative Product of the Year last year at IAAPA, right? Yep. Let's talk about this phenomenal product, Valo Arena, which and before you describe it too much, tell us what was the desire, because we know that if you're an owner, one of the things we're all trying to do is minimize our labor costs of running our attractions, right? So imagine if you had to have labor at every attraction, you're just burning through hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars an hour, right? If you're not careful, probably hundreds, but. So that was probably one of the motivations to create something that didn't require an attendant. But tell us what else you guys were trying to do, and let's talk about what Valo Arena is doing.
Okay. So first of all, we are always looking for the next thing. Valo Arena took a couple of years to develop. We had a very big team behind it. And the idea was, first of all, to move a couple of people together. So it's not a one-person or two-person attraction. It's a social activity. So you move together with people, and you need room for that. And then after we look on activities for multiple people, you need to look on how you do it. Most people chose VR, and the major hassles with VR are the wearables that you need to put on, and they break, and you need to charge them, and you need to
reset the program,
and you disconnect yourself from the environment. So we were looking about a way of bringing you to a virtual reality without putting the goggles on. It's not easy. It's a tech that involves artificial intelligence. It's tech
really
that's
cool.
Top of the line in any aspect, top of the line hardware that you need to run it. But in the end of the day, we managed to get to a solution of a room that you get 1 to 6 players at a time.
Yes.
And you play together while watching yourself in 2 big screens on the sides, as if you were in that reality.
Yeah, so let me just describe. Imagine a space, I'll just say, 15 feet wide by...
Yeah, it's more. It's 26 by 20.
Okay, 26 by 20, right? And then you got screens with projectors on both sides. Isn't there one in front of them too, or is it just sides?
2 big ones.
Two big screens on each side. And so what happens is they've got sensors around the space that literally puts your body in 3D, and you see the screens, but what you're seeing is in reality, it's got a digital floor on it, and you see your body, and as you move your body, you can see, but the floor, like an Indiana Jones thing, will begin, tiles will move, and if you don't move with the tile, your body will fall. You'll literally see yourself go, ah, in 3D, and you'll like be cast down into the depths of, well, I don't want to say hell, but whatever it is, right? But you're out. That's when you're out. So once that happens, you step aside, kind of like traditional games.
Yeah, but this is one of the popular games. The floor is lava type. We call it groundfall. It's still one of the top games, but we have other application, again, involving the group, involving, there is something interesting, something else that we saw. In this game, more than anybody other game that we have, parents and kids can play together.
I love that.
Which is big. That's great. This is one of the trends that we see now in the industry. Yes. Those millennial parents want to be more involved in the kids' entertainment and education. Yeah. It's not the father that sits aside and
but they grew up on games too. The millennial parents. So
they are involved. And in these games, doesn't matter how big are you or how fast are you. It's about how good are you at the game.
Right.
And that's how you can play with everybody. And it's starting like with a bit of pushing, a bit of like, fun and laughs. And it's kind of like a social event while playing a physical game.
Well, and the beauty is, so you get all that physical motion, you get the movement, the interaction, but it's also fun to watch. So one of the big things I've always been a fan of is whatever attractions you put in, can it be entertaining to sit and watch people do it as well? Just like Valo Jump. It's fun to watch the kids jump and interact. So that's a real big plus. And one of the things that I love also is it's self-automated, or what's the term you would use for not requiring an attendant? Unattended, right.
No wearables.
Yep. Yeah. So what can happen is that arena is set up, a group finishes, they exit, and maybe there's a little queue line where the next group of 6 or 8 walk in, and it just starts on its own, right?
Yep.
So really...
That has been one of the things that's... When we were talking about VR a bit, and the biggest challenge I saw in VR in the parks, in the active entertainment parks, I'm not looking on FECs in general because this is another topic.
Right.
Active entertainment. Most owners are missing the most important part, which is calculating the total cost of operation.
Right.
They know how much it costs.
Yep.
They know if there's annual subscription to it.
Yes.
But they usually don't calculate how much is to put a person full
at least one person, maybe two.
Yeah, on shifts to clean, to
prep,
take
run
care
the
about
game,
the
put all the stuff on everybody.
Teach people how to play, things like that. And if you can avoid that, your total cost of operation drops dramatically.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you need to calculate. It's not how much I paid. Okay, I paid $100,000 for an attraction. But if I need to pay another 50 or 70 a year just to run it.
You know something you just made me think of? I just did a video on how to build a business plan. And part of it is working on your finances. And, over all the years, I've built a fair amount of locations and helped clients. And we're pretty good at projecting costs. But one of the things I just realized that I've never done is project the labor cost per attraction, figuring out, because we know dodgeball requires an attendant, right, for safety. But I'm going to take a different approach on that and make sure I'm spending time, not just saying, hey, we're going to have XYZ employees, but I almost got to look at the attraction mix to really know how much labor, because you're right. It all adds up. And I will tell you, outside of typically how it works in, it can depend on the size of the venue and your rents, but, some of the biggest costs are going to either be your rent or your mortgage if you bought a place, labor is going to be there, and then insurance, right? So anything we can do to reduce that labor cost, my gosh, it makes such a difference on that bottom line. Yep. Right?
There's another thing that most people are unaware when they buy digital attractions.
Yeah.
That's uptime.
Yeah.
And when I started to talk about uptime in this industry, people talk to me, what's uptime?
It's the opposite of downtime?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to know, out of the opening hours of your park, each attraction, how many hours it can produce you of game.
Right. Because that's where it's at, right?
In the end of the day, you see attraction, and you ask, and I don't want to bash any attraction, but there are attractions that everybody knows. You ask operators, what's the uptime? And they start to think, well, it breaks quite a lot, and whenever it breaks, it takes a couple of weeks to fix it. So the uptime is like 50% of the time. It's
gosh.
They say, okay, it's an expensive attraction, but then it doesn't work all the time. And it's not only it doesn't work, it doesn't produce game, it's also
It creates a bad will because people get frustrated. They're in the game and whatever, and it breaks down. It's like, or even the sign, sorry, closed. It's just a bad sign, right?
You came and you wanted to play that game.
Yeah.
When you bought a ticket, you didn't know it's closed, right?
Yep.
That's a frustration on the guest. And we try, and we are very proud in what we do in terms of support. We try that our solutions will be 99% uptime. And people are like, no way. We have more than 1,000 units out there with a clock on each one of them. And we know exactly when it's on or off.
Well, and I was going to bring that up next. One thing I love that you guys do is you have, is it a minimum of like 2 full-time service people, or maybe it's more than that are virtually sitting somewhere because you guys are working around the clock. You have clients from around the globe, right? Yep. So you have to have a full-time tech that are available to hop online because it's all virtual, and they can get in through the internet and say, oh, we're going to do a reset on your thing, or this happened, or have you checked the power plug, right? Because you can probably diagnose these things quickly.
That's a big deal. That's a big. When we are very early in the company journey. I come from 16 years in the industry. You know me before Valo Motion.
Right.
And I told the guys, look, if you want to be not just successful, the best company in the industry, you need to make sure that you have the best service in the industry. The best, nothing but the best. Yeah. And I always call it the Saturday night case. Try to call your vendor on Saturday night and see if they pick up the phone. And if they pick up the phone, if they can actually serve you. Because most companies will say, sorry, we closed, we're going to help you on Monday. But on Saturday night, this is where you make
where
the
all
money.
the money is being made. Yeah.
And tomorrow is Sunday.
Yes.
And you need to make money tomorrow because you have 10 birthdays booked, right?
Yes.
And that's why I always say, make sure that on Saturday night, specifically Pacific time.
Yeah.
So 10 o'clock, you have somebody to answer and to solve a problem. When we move to this 24/7 real support, I think all our customers,
I know, it's
no
been great.
inclusion. They say, look, I never experienced such a service in the industry. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Look, we're not cheap.
Yeah.
You pay for this service, but you deserve, because we know your business.
Yep.
You need the uptime. You need the systems to work in order to provide your guests with the experience.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Well, and so, because there's nothing, if you have great product and great service, it's a real win-win. And like you said, you're not cheap, but you're not like ungodly amounts of money. But anything good in this world costs. The good stuff, you have to pay a little more for it, right? The good stuff, you pay for it. So, I guess, just understanding that you guys are constantly innovating, you can change things around, change the games, modify things, you have great service. And I really did not want this to sound like a sales pitch for Valo, because that's not my intent of these podcasts we're doing. But because you're so unique and you're in your own niche, we are talking about the specifics of what you do, but really, if a FEC owner is looking for an opportunity to add something different to their place, I think you guys are doing it better than anybody else. And just
we're trying our best.
Yeah. Well, you're doing it, and look forward to seeing some of these newer. I think I asked you last time, what's coming up next? You said, well, I can't talk about it. In fact, when the year before Valo Arena, you're like, oh. Wait, I'm so excited. I can't tell you right now. So I'm sure there's some other things going on.
I can tell you that we're working now on something else, which we're going to inaugurate in IAPA. It's not a new product. It's a new concept. Mm-hmm. We understood that there is a gap in the industry, actually in the retail industry, of small-scale parks. Mm-hmm. Most of the small-scale parks in mall doesn't really provide you with the active indoor entertainment experience.
Right.
So we are building a new concept of mini park, which is exclusively active indoor interactive entertainment of ours. And we're going to publish it in IAPA in Orlando, and we're going to have more information for everybody about it. But it's an exciting opportunity for somebody that's want to tap into something which is easy to build, easy to operate, 2 people to operate a mini park, which is a big deal today.
That's awesome.
And something really duplicable, which is also something that people are looking in the retail industry.
Yes, we are. So, hey, thanks for coming on board with us today at the Funtrepreneurs. We're just trying to create a place where people can come and learn more of how to expand their opportunities in the business of fun. We really are in a business that is so unique to the rest of the world. We're a place where we bring families together, which is awesome. We're a place that keeps kids physically fit, or at least promotes fitness, right? We're a place that also creates It's a place of celebration, which I love. And it's a place where those that are the owners and operators that invest in their time can make a good living doing all these great things. I just can't think of a better business to be in. So,
Definitely.
Eldad, thanks again for joining us today. Really glad you were here. This mixed reality stuff is very exciting. And if you enjoyed what you heard today from Eldad, there's many other guests we have here on the Funtrepreneurs. Our goal really is to educate you, help you understand what's going on in the industry. How can we make the business better, safer, cooler, and make more money for the people that are in the industry that are trying to make a living as a Funtrepreneur? So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to catching you on our next episode, and I'll see you then.
The Funtrepreneurs is brought to you by United Play, your one-stop solution to design, manufacture, and build thrilling attractions for family entertainment centers and adventure parks.